are the grand finals of WardiTV 2022. In the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Terran player is Cure from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. In the top right, our red Zerg from Kaizi. This is Reynor. Let's hear who you're cheering for in the chat. This is best of 7. Rip V Dub on the 6-month resub on the Prime comes in, cheering on Cure. Let's go. Let me know who you're cheering for, guys. Thank you for the sub. And let's get this party started. I'm so excited. This is a huge match. There's $1,500 already guaranteed to both of these players, but the winner doubles their money. So a best of 7 for $1,500. Well, we did have Cure getting first map pick. He chooses to immediately start on Waterfall, so enjoying the chance to play here on Waterfall first. Terran map, trying to get the momentum in his favor. We'll see what sort of stuff he's going to bring out throughout the series. I expect some 2 base all-ins, some 8 racks. I expect maybe a proxy racks 1 game as well, of course. Very excited for a lot of that. Let's go Cure, says Lock Q. Let's go Cure, says Alan Diar. Cure as well from Cam. Go Reynor. Go, says Zerking SC2. A bunch of people are cheering on Clem. Clem's not alive, guys. You kind of a few hours late on that one. As we are going to have the low ground racks, but not going to go multiple racks Reapers, which is what sometimes you expect when you see that low ground racks coming in. Pete said, thank you so much for the 11-month resub on the Prime coming in and cheering on Reynor as well. Let's do have our Overlord coming by and is taking some damage. He's going to get to the high ground, but of course this barracks can just lift to kind of get that high ground vision, which is why I think what Reynor did there was very smart. He continued to run. He didn't rely on the high ground. He was aware a little bit of what Cure was trying to do. Cure wants this first Overlord kill, and he is going to get it. So Overlord kill completed here for Cure, and that's a fantastic start, grabbing that, and that's the reason he puts this barracks on the low ground. Able to get that with the Marines, and like I say, he has the backup plan of being able to lift if the Overlord just tries to hide on the high ground. So that's really, really sick, as we have ourselves the SCV and a drone looking each other down for a moment or two. The hatchery will go down. We will try and build a bunker, but the Lings are immediately on top of it, so that's not going to go anywhere. It's nice if you can get that bunker up, and you've been building Marines early. A few Marines getting a bunker, and it's just an expensive little something to work through and to knock down for Reynor. But obviously that doesn't really happen here this time around as CV returns home. But reactor coming up on the barracks, and obviously it's a little bit weird with the structures on the low ground. Here comes forward immediately, catching that Zergling, getting rid of it straight off the bat. That could not have gone much better, quite frankly, at the very get-go. As the hatchery continuing up, just on this third base. That's where Reynor will go from. Yeah. That is where we currently stand with the couple Lings going back up to the top side of the map now. Just backing away, giving it a few moments. Going to be having ourselves the medevac on the way. So Cure actually going to try a little bit of aggression here, in fact. So see how that ends up going. If that's something that could perhaps become intriguing over the next little while. The Hellions will start to move out onto the map. A little bit of a journey onwards. Obviously waiting for this medevac to strike. The Hellions will just sit there and wait for their chance to maybe dart into a mineral line. The medevac has the Marines in. That's heading to the main base, so that's going to head up there. Reynor's already got a few units in position, though, so not looking as though he's going to get too caught off guard in that area of the game. Not just yet, at least, as our Hellions get across. A couple of drones get chased. He has 2 drones so far. Again, the medevac doesn't really get anywhere, doesn't really make any progress or anything, so that's not going to be able to achieve too much. Come in. They do end up getting a Queen, so this medevac does get through. The medevac, though, taking big damage. The Queen's from the low ground. We're getting some good shots off there. Able to hit that medevac hard. The medevac does have to peel away over on the right-hand side. Bets are in, by the way. As the bet just closed, 50-50. Wow, 1.6 million channel points on the line, and it's 50-50 down the middle between Cure and Reynor. So you guys in the chat really believe in both of them. Let's hope that the actual games in this grand final live up to the hype that you guys believe it will. If that actually goes that way, then we really are going to be in for a good one, plain and simple, right? So very exciting. The Feeling's trying to get up, but the wall-off is good. Cure is building a third CC, so it's not 2 base all in or anything. He's still only on 2 barracks, and we'll be using the 2 Rex. Surely you'd imagine. I mean, Stim's done. He's got 1 medevac, of course, but the other medevac's not here just yet. As just going to see that Queens just want to get that medevac. If this medevac can go down, maybe in some prime position to again be feeling pretty good, right? Because then these units can't retreat away. Reynor a little slow on the flank with the other units. As he is going to continue chasing this. It's the Liberator in the main base that's already had 5 kills. Now going to get up to 7 drones, plus got a Queen as well. He gets one final drone before the Spore deals with it, and that is not good for Reynor. That is a little bit sloppy from him, and that's unfortunately maybe going to be very costly, because all of a sudden now, Reynor is in a situation where he's just lost a bunch of drones on a map where the Terran player can be quite aggressive, and that could be the beginning of the end. You never know. You know, when someone as good as Cure is playing, he is so good with his timings. He's so good at taking advantage of damage dealt like this, right? I think that's what it comes down to. He is just so good at that sort of stuff. So it's got to be pretty scary for Reynor. He's actually still on a pretty low work account here. He's going to attack himself. Oh, God. So is Cure in some trouble? Because I think Reynor is actually just setting up to attack right now and to really go fighting. Oh, geez. This is actually kind of suddenly going the other way, because actually Reynor's the aggressor, and Cure might not be ready for that. Oh my goodness, this actually is kind of a little bit crazy. Medevac comes up the right side, another tank trying to get into position here, trying to siege up on the low ground and fight the drones and the Queens where possible. Well, Reynor's ready for the wraparound, and here we come. He's coming in from the south side. So this is the moment for Reynor. Like I said, he's very committed to this. He needs to not just win here, he needs to go across the map afterwards and do damage as well, I think, as immediately we are going to see it dropping into the base. The medevac's going to delay Reynor a bit, but he is going to start moving across the map too. Like I said, I think he has to, right? Like, he's so committed. He's going to find tanks, though, set up, and Marines as well. Reynor has no 1-1 upgrades on the way. He's been on only 47 drones this entire time. He cleans up this first attack, but only to, like I say, not really be in a great spot coming out of it. So, yeah. I thought he was going to be able to sweep through that army initially just a lot sooner and a lot more effectively. And then obviously you go across the map, you fling everything you own into a counterattack, it would be great. I think a big part of the problem is these medevacs got the lift up and the evacuation. In doing that, you do keep the threat into the main base, and that means Reynor couldn't just send everything across the map. He couldn't just try to throw, you know, units into breaking the natural expansion. If he could do that, maybe this would have been successful for him. Yeah, now Reynor definitely has to play a bit from behind, and that's where stuff like the burrow comes into play. That research is a pretty huge part of getting back into the game. Some burrowed banelings, for example. Just anything that could potentially, you know, like I say, bring it back for you. Because you're definitely playing from behind. You're definitely playing from the deficit here. You kind of need things to, kind of, you know, start turning around a little bit. Fiddling Bane will come along. Just going to be seeing our units heading down the bottom right. Medevacs and Marines will continue to keep a lot of map control at the moment, by the way. So, a lot of map control being held so far. That's obviously going to make it a bit tough for Reynor, although I'm kind of impressed his creep is still kind of poking through the other side of the map despite being under a lot of pressure thus far. He's coming through, just going to be having ourselves the drop, threatening the main base again, just something you got to stay on top of, basically, here as Reynor. And he does have a Queen to start shooting at those medevacs. You don't want to unload those medevacs right now. That obviously would not really make a whole ton of sense. And Cure's playing pretty defensively back here. I mean, you obviously want to be a little bit defensive over on this side. Marine is going to get forced to lift back up in the medevac, so have to escape away on that regard. Let's try and back it up for a few moments, and it's going to be seen how Marines coming through. The rest of these Banes coming forward, a couple of them getting shot down immediately. Going to get rid of a few more. Oh, good connections. The Banelands getting rid of a few Marines. So as Marines lift up back into the medevacs, escaping away for the moment. Reynor has a double expand coming down to try and take a fifth, establishing a macro hatchery at the same point in time. And upgrades will be an issue for him. 2-2's finishing as he's finishing 1-1. Sakura has that upgrade lead pretty much throughout this game, guaranteed. There's not going to be a way to really fix that. Come by. A few of these troop tumors getting picked off. We knocked down a Baneling off to the side as well. Trying to get this hatchery top left. Q obviously would like to get one of these bases, and that's the power of double expanding as Reynor, because now he's obviously still got a fifth hatchery he can mine from, so that's still pretty good for him. Slings and Banes will start to make a bit of a move. Our Marines here and a few tanks will start a fire. It's going to be seen how Bioforce able to hold this high ground. Secure is able to get a fifth base as well, starting to split this map quite heavily at the moment. So this map split is coming online. Marines coming up. Marines coming forward. Hatchery coming by as well. And all of this set to go. Slings, Banes, Queens coming by. There's going to be seeing a few extra Banes coming through. Adrenal glands and +2. Melee is on the way up as well, so continue to get this going as best as possible here. Extra Banes coming up. So we've seen our Banes rolling forward, trying to hit these Marines. It's going to be having our army of Reynor sitting strong across this right-hand side. We do have a bit of bio pressing forward. The Queen's pulling back. A few Lings want to try and chase in. Reynor's just got to be careful about this. At least he's about to have 2-2. That will help him, but of course he is kind of stuck on 2-2 for a moment. He's got Vipers though. I mean, Vipers are nice. Yeah, he could start 3-3. He's got the money, but he'll need to rebuild after this attack. We get the blinding clouds on some of these tanks, stop some of these shots. This is going to turn into a bit of a surrounding fight, but we've got the planetary fortress to retreat to. That actually might save some of these Marines in the corner. He can, of course, lift in the medevacs as well if necessary, but Kira's attack here has been thwarted, and he's going to lose bases because of it as well. As Reynor, Nelly didn't have enough to take down that planetary. That would have been a mistake. That would have been a little bit rough. It's just going to be seeing the base does go down though. CC gets cancelled. 8 SCVs have died. In the top left, we're going to go pushing this base as well. Knocking that down straight away, and just going to be having now a couple of Vipers. I'm going to get a little bit of energy back, ready to go once more. Good target fight from Q, knocking down this group of Banelings here. So those Banelings get knocked down and knocked out. A couple of Burrowed Banes as well, waiting for those to get some of the connections here. I mean, just feels as though Reynor is starting to take control of this game. Q is trying to take a fifth base again, but Reynor, I think, has a pretty good shot at stopping this fifth base from coming online. That's obviously the exact opposite of what you want to have happen here, as Q, you kind of need this fifth base the way this game is going. I mean, you can survive on 4 for a while. When you look at resources lost, it is good for him. He can survive on 4 for a while. I think the problem is if he survives on 4, he maybe feels like Reynor gets a little too far ahead, so that's why he feels the need to maybe be a bit more aggressive about things right now. Flings, Banes, Hydras, Queens coming through. A couple of blinding clouds just going to get hit on these siege tanks, and a lot of these tanks start to go down. So continue to just chase along here, and just going to be having the orbital have to lift off. This fifth base will not be allowed. That's the benefit, I guess, for Kira right now. You can just lift and leave with this orbital at least, so that shouldn't be too problematic. Let's come forward. The Hydra's in trouble. I'm just going to be seeing the units going to come forward again here. The bio and the tanks. Well, I think the tanks might have a chance to hold. The Hydra's at least able to grab one of those tanks pretty quickly. So that goes very well for you here. 7 STVs going down. The Viper about to finish. +3/+3 coming out. 22 Lings. And Reynor still max, but so is Kua. At the same time now, we have in the top left side of the map our orbital hatchery over here being denied against. This is 5 bases of Reynor only. He cannot get himself to base number 6. And that is one of the issues as the Baneling Burrow works. This is one of the issues with this map for Zerg play. You have limited base count. So if the Terran continues to trade efficiently like this, eventually the Terran can usually mine out all of their bases and you mine out all of yours. And that obviously becomes a big issue and becomes very expensive. You knock down that hatchery on the right-hand side. And Bane Hydra still moving around over there as Medivacs will unload and Kua continues to hold this position. Game 1 of this best of 7 here on Waterfall is already showing us a pretty cool start to the finals. You know, today started off a little bit quick, but yeah, so far, finals looking pretty sick as our missile turret gets a few shot and Vipers. Here we go, Lings, Banes, Hydra's going to come in from either side. Blinding Cloud will go down. Our Banes want to run on through here. Here we go. No Planetary Fortress to help. We've got a lot of Banes on the top left that are late to the party. I was going to say, it might just be time for Reynor to pull back with those already, because I just don't think that's going to end well for him, so didn't really look ideal. It's going to be seeing the rest of these Hydras and Banes coming through, going to morph in a chunk of Lurkers as well. The Seismic Spines is on the way up also here. It's going to be seeing our Queen's gathering to defend. I mean, Reynor is, again, like, he's almost down to money. These Lurkers are nice, but are they too late? Maybe not. I mean, it depends on how these Liberators work. Liberators are the one thing we really have to answer the Lurkers right now. We don't have Ghosts or anything, and Kira's not really set up to immediately swap into Ghosts or anything along those lines. Drones going down, Liberator top left, going to be very annoying. You might ask, why hasn't Kua had Ghost ready in a game like this? It's because it's been such an active game and he's not really had a chance to go into Ghost, right? That's not really been something that's been too serious to consider. And he's just going to be seeing a couple of tanks flying in and, well, some Lurkers will take some shots. They got to back away for a moment. It's just tough to go Ghost when you're kind of playing this aggressive game, and Ghosts kind of slow you down, and Kua's obviously maybe not really felt like he's had the chance to slow down at all, right? So it's a little rough for him as we do see this Lurker is going to be a big part of this defense on this bottom right base. Helping to hold for the moment. Reynor has a lot of units top left. That's not currently really doing much at all. And these couple tanks getting siege. We save one of the Lurkers, transfused it as well. I mean, just the dedication to the little bits and pieces are nice as we do abduct in double tank. Liberator. These are the exact things you want to be doing with these Vipers. Finding efficiency for yourself. And now he's going to surge forward. He wants to deny this base. He knows he can't let Kua mine a 6th base so easily. So he's going to try and make the best of it he can. And honestly, must be getting some good value here, right? When you're talking about a fight where, you know, so many tanks and libs have been abducted in. That is huge. Abducted again, just going to see these Lurkers both. And, both those tanks going to get taken down. Lurkers making short work of them. Like I say, the libs are kind of the issue. You need the Vipers to be able to abduct the libs, otherwise they will just farm your Lurkers. A few more Hydras coming through. And the first Ghosts are on the way out from Kua, so he has been able to get to that Ghost counter. So Lurkers take a step forward. We abduct. And we did have snipes going off. Only one snipe lands as he abducted a tank and 2 Ghosts there. So I believe he only killed one of the 2 Ghosts, however. Gonna be seeing our Medivacs gonna go boosting across over the left-hand side. Lib setting up, Ghost setting up. Just gonna see this cloak and this nuke all coming in. Viper's trying to just consume that hatch to the right as you do see the lings and the banes. I'll run on forward. Nice lift up, honestly. Good efficiency from here, right? Again, just trying to absorb as much damage as he can, then bring these units away. Got a couple of tanks coming off, and just gonna get a few shots. Reynor's gonna make a dive forward. Again, Reynor's got to be aware that this map is not going to be friendly for him the later this goes. It's 13k resources lost worse. He is starting to set up on the top left, but that base is likely to not have a good time because Cure is so close to this base. It should be easy for him to get here and deny it, and that's Reynor's issue. Finding a way to mine from that base is not going to be easily found. Knock down the tank, the Bane getting shot at. We do see the Ghosts are going to have a big impact now, and they're just going to find a free chunk of snipes. Talking about farming resources. Resources lost going to go now 16k in Cure's favor. Reynor was behind in this game, and I think that's obviously a big part of the discussion here. He was definitely behind, and now is definitely paying a little bit of the price of it as we see these Ghosts continuing through. A couple of Queens going to march forward. Going to get one of those Queens taken down immediately. Tank's just edging a little further forward. Spain's Hydras just gonna pull back here. I mean, it's a tough game for Reynor right now. I just don't know where he finds the efficiency to turn this around. He needs to basically take one massive fight that surges him through multiple bases in doing so. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to take down so much in one single swipe. It's so difficult. The resources just don't exist on the map for him to keep on playing this longer game. That is the issue. That is the problem. As blinding clouds go down, tanks getting struck. This CC has to lift off. Reynor honestly clears out a lot of supply at Kira, just nowhere near enough as his own supply dropped heavily. And Reynor doesn't have the money to rebuild. We've got a bit of buy over here. Some lurkers get there defensively in the upper left-hand side. A couple of those will wander forward a little bit as our buy comes in. Two of those lurkers drop, and a few lings chasing down the marauders as well. We having ourselves the attempt to take this base soon. Reynor will not be able to deny this base going up. He just doesn't have the money to stop it happening. I think Q was very smart to recognize here that this is very much so a game where, he could just slow down the game from the lead he had early and just sort of play it slowly instead of trying to, be a little over aggressive, which is a lot of the time when people find themselves in trouble against these top-end Zergs, when they're like, oh, I had a good start, surely I can just end it, and you push, and it just never really works. Pushing in again, this top left base of Reynor will be going down. It's one of the few mining bases he has access to. He's mining off the right, just minerals. He's mining off the top left, also just minerals, not really gas. Planetary Fortress is up, so the extra bit of damage from that will help. The snipe's already coming through. We're hitting the Vipers. They are irreplaceable right now, and Cure has game number 1 in his pocket. Cure takes the 1-0 lead in this best of 7 grand final here today. As we're about to pass that 3,000 viewer mark as well, hello and welcome everybody to the grand finals of WardiTV 2022. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Kaizi Gaming. This is Reynor. Tough start for him last game, and then obviously tough map to make a comeback on. Top left-hand side is going to be our red Terran player, Cure. Game number 2, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining us so far today for our grand finals of WardiTV 2022. I hope you're enjoying the games. If you are enjoying the games and you're enjoying the tournament, and if you've had an absolute blast with this event, do consider supporting the channel. These events, WardiTV events, happen because of you guys. We don't have some magical sponsor that's putting in thousands of dollars of prize money to these events. These events are run and funded because you guys are so supportive of the events that we run, are so supportive of the stream. That's why every time you get someone subscribes, we always talk about $1 going into a prize pool, and we're always trying to run more events and do more sponsors to run more events, etc. So my point is, if you guys enjoy the stream and you guys have a good time with it, do consider supporting, because it lets us do more stuff like this in the future. Our number one priority is running as much StarCraft content as we can. And like I say, we can only do it because of you guys. So support if you can. Check out our sponsors. Subscribe. Use that Prime sub. Listen to me selling out. Watch the ads. Anything helps. It allows us to run tournaments like this one. Game number 2, Cosmic Sapphire. This is Reynor's map pick. So Waterfall Q's map pick to start the series. Now Reynor's map pick for map 2. Let's see how we do. And let's see what we do as Q, I think, mostly, like what he does. Because I think if he goes, I think an Arax would be a pretty reasonable choice. Arax can work pretty well, and Cosmic Sapphire is definitely a map where you've got those options, a map where you've got those kind of pushing locations you can move towards. So, yeah, definitely a couple things to look out for there. Yo, okay, you guys just going wild. A hype train is close even. My goodness, you guys gonna kick us into a hype train in the grand finals? Maybe, maybe. Mahogla, thank you so much for your singular Prime sub, first of all. And then Captain Hair gonna drop the 10 gifted subs as well. Thank you so much. Obviously, waiting game. I don't want to read out everyone right now, because obviously this is our finals as well. I want to try and stay on point, but thank you so much for the generosity and the gifted subs. I really, really appreciate it, as we do have a few drones coming up. Link speed getting going. And getting all of this underway. Be a pretty peaceful start of the game, right? Nothing too wild happening immediately. Let's do have our extra starport coming up, and we do play this off the back of a 3rd CC, so 3 CC is going to be our setup for the moment. Viking coming in. Okay, you guys are just going crazy in the chat. I'll have to catch up with you all later. I don't want to spend the entire grand final game 2 talking about the subs and the shoutouts and stuff. I really do appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I will obviously catch up and say thank you to everyone properly when the time is right. For now, we're just about to start getting interesting, because the Hellion count is rising. We've got the Viking on the way as well, which obviously is very good for being able to shoot down these overlords and push those around and push those back. So that's definitely a pretty huge deal here as well. And that's something that can definitely be pretty notable in the next little while as we continue to get all set up. I'm going to knock that Overlord down at the moment, so just going to whack that away, and just going to be seeing our Liberator, our Marine. A couple of Hellions still continue to produce for the moment as well, so just bringing all of this up and online. And getting the Carapace upgrade building on the side of Reynor to get this going. Viking does have a single kill to its name. As, once again, thank you everyone for being so generous in the chat. I see you guys going absolutely crazy. Again, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for being awesome. As at this point, we are probably well on the way to 1,000 subs, which is also just incredible. So thank you so much. Hellions sit in the bottom left side, waiting for a chance to make a move. We've got the Liberator around the right. It was the Liberator that really started everything off last time around. You know, the Lib was really the thing that kind of came through, was able to do so well. It was able to set things off into QA's favor, so we'll see if they can do it again now as he sets it up while everything else is going on, right? So that is all happening. It's going to be seeing our Queen sitting at the front, our couple of engineering bays, our multiple barracks continue to produce here. Stim pack on the way, 1-1 upgrades producing, and that Baneland Nest producing from Reynor as well. So yeah, in the end, I don't think we actually saw it on screen, right? But the Liberator was dealt with, pushed back without getting a single kill, so that's very well handled. I think that's very important, actually, because, like I say, that really is the unit that set things off into QA's favor last time around, so I think very important to get rid of it ASAP. $1,000 subs? Why not 2,000 subs? because we've not been at 1,000 subs for pretty much the entire year. So I feel like 1,000 subs was a pretty pretty reasonable goal compared to 2K. I think gone are the days of 2K subscribers being a realistic and achievable goal. As Reynor's second baneling nest, by the way, a little bit of a mistake there. Zamela upgrade about halfway done. The baneling speed is producing. So again, that online. Just gonna see our Liberator coming down the right, and just gonna see the Viking going after a few of these drones. Just gonna see our Hellions back around the upper left. The Lings come by. Viking gets picked off. 11 creep tumors currently on the way, just to show how much creep is being spread by Reynor. He is overtaking this map, guys, and well, it's about time to make a decision. He has got the gases to play, I believe, into a longer game here. He's got all 6, so yep, there's the factory. There's a little bit of a delayed armory. I was mostly initially going to be talking about the idea here of probably seeing something along the lines of a I was just kind of thinking like maybe he was going to 8 racks, but then I was looking at the gas count basically is where my trail of thought was, so. It's going to be seeing our Marines picking away at a lot of the creep in the center, and we'll have, a lot of this creep spread going down. Oh, we just didn't get rid of those active tumors in time though, so the those actually get to live. That's frustrating, to be honest. I mean, that's just moments away from not having those 2 tumors on the map, right? That would have just been nice to get rid of. Our 2-2 upgrades will be producing, so just getting that started from Q. And with that little bit of a delay, he's definitely behind the 2-2 of Reynor, which means that Reynor is the one that's going to have some kind of a 2-2 timing available here. That's obviously going to be pretty nutty. That's definitely something we're going to have a look at. We're just going to be seeing our Marines pressing forward, and the creep spread starting to take some pretty serious damage. So a lot of these creep teams are starting to go down as we push in through the center. Our Lings come through, our Banes come through, our Widowmine gets a connection. Just going to see the couple medevacs have to lift up and get out of there for the moment. Marines lift off once more. Adrenaline claws on the way up. Liberator in the back, going to get rid of a couple of additional workers here. 2, 3 drones going down. The Spore will finally get this kill. As Lib got up to 10 kills in the end, so, I mean, job well done considering that was the Liberator from earlier. Goes to show just how important bringing a low HP unit home and getting it repaired can be. That really was probably the most effectiveness you'll see from a Liberator that was 1 shot away from death at about 5 minutes, so good job, very well done there. As we scan up, our creep spread will be cleaned out a little bit more. There's a few units in this bottom left side being wiped out. Again, this is a map with so many more bases. To put it in perspective, Reynor's about to take base 6 here. Base 6 is the amount of bases he had in total to work with in the last game at any, when he hit the max base count. And we're barely getting going on Cosmic Sapphire. And also the good thing about Cosmic is you've got a base that is not mirrored on the other side of the map, the bottom left gold. That's hard, it's not easy to hold as the Zerg necessarily, but it's very hard for the Terran to take. And so if you can just take that eventually, or at least keep the Terran off it, in general is just going to be something else that's going to really benefit you as a Zerg on this map, and one of the reasons you like it. And the thing is, if you have a lot of attention being paid as Q to denying the bottom left, it means that Reynor could maybe even steal a base of Q's in the top right as well. So there's just options after options, as apparently Reynor's found his way across the map, and that 4th base of Q looks completely undefended. Yeah, I mean, Q is busy on the right side. He does have the army bottom left as well. I'm actually most interested over here right now, because this feels like something Reynor doesn't have an answer to. His queens will transfuse, and they will buy a little bit of time for each other. And as these Banes are going to continue forward, they're just going to come crashing by. Widowmine hits on a couple of Banelings, more of them connecting. This hatchery down here continues to take a lot of shots. I'm just going to be seeing the Hydras and the Banes pulling back. 13 drones dead. I mean, he denied the 4th base, though, Reynor. The thing is, the damage that Q does here is not equal to you losing your 4th base, because you're on 3 bases at the moment. That's not enough to keep you going. That's really rough. Just going to see a Widowmine shot going off. Just going to be seeing a couple of Banes getting knocked down. And our Marines and our medevacs come back around the right side. There's going to be another attack on the upper right base here in the next few moments. We do have Lings and Banes making their way forward. The Spore Crawler activates, going after the couple of medevacs there. I'm just going to be seeing this big push into the far right in the next couple of moments here. Going to take our watchtower for a few moments as well. The Bioforce going to get rid of this hatchery. It will go down, and the few Broodlings still chasing in to clean up this bio army. Alright, Kua gonna try and take a fourth to the top. Reynor is just getting back into a great position here. Repeatedly so far. Knocks down this hatchery. I don't think Reynor really cares. Because he's just going to deny the fourth again, so he's still playing 5 bases to 3. The fourth doesn't die. And, okay, he turns around now with the Hydra, so you may be able to get the kill on that. I thought for a moment he was just going to run up the ramp straight into the third base, right? I thought that was almost a guarantee, as just going to be seeing the Hydras. We'll knock that CC down. That will fall on the top. It's going to be seeing the single Widow Mine already burrowing up. Our Banes will go rolling forward for a moment or two. Widow Mine shot goes off. We're going to split up and try and come from a different angle. We've got to keep splitting against the mines. That's Reynor's issue right now. Can he take a fight here to clean up this army? Just needs to be careful not to lose too much at once. He doesn't have loads in the bank, so he can't fully rebuild. I think he's done enough here. Blind Cloud going to stop the Terran from fighting as much. Parasitic Bomb is basically just guaranteeing kills on Medivacs. Reynor is chasing Kua down, and Kua is going to lose a few more units before this day is done, I think. As the corners helped him a little bit more than anything else. But if Reynor just launches this attack, right? He can launch this attack up this left-hand side, go through this command center. I think he can actually have a very good time there as... Yeah, obviously there's just SCVs for the take, and they're not splitting away. Kua's too busy dealing with everything else. Reynor is going to come charging on forward, and Reynor is going to absolutely knock this one out of the park, as he is going to tie this series up 1-1. And ladies, gentlemen, everybody, we have got a finals on our hands. Each player going to win their opening map pick. GG from Kua. Reynor ties it up. And there we have it, all tied up and all ready to play more games. Just a lot more StarCraft, and thank you so much, Inject Virus, for the 7 years. And let's go into game 3. In the top left-hand corner, our red Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Kua. In a depot at the front again. We'll see if he establishes a little bit more with this or what he wants to do. Bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player. Let's hear it in the chat if you're cheering on Kaizi Gaming's Reynor. Wormage36, thank you so much for the Prime sub, as well as Reynor goes pool first. Small map. Definitely some potential with the pool first. I wonder if he's going to crank out a Roach all in behind this as well, potentially. There's definitely some opportunity of Nasty cheering on Kua. AZ slowly cheering on Reynor. Lock Q cheering on Kua as well. The hype is in the chat. The finals really are upon us. I'm feeling it, guys. I am feeling it. It's good to be feeling it as well. Hell freaking yeah. What a day. What a day of StarCraft. Ah, you know, we got a little stressed out in the middle. Now we had to cast a couple games of Maru Max Packs waiting for our tournament to resume, but you know what? It all worked out okay. I appreciate you all being here. So, second Rax from Kua is going to be a Reaper-based opening, so he is going to go the 2 Rax Reaper route this time around. As Reynor gets to the front, he will know this is 2 Raxes, and he's already going for the Roach Roaring. The blind build here from Reynor is very good for him. An immediate Roach Roaring, he'll have Roaches defensively. He obviously can't really afford to take any damage because he's already setting up so aggressively himself that taking damage in this situation would put him into a lot of trouble. So that's one thing he's going to have to be very wary of and very careful about. But in theory, for the most part, this really is like fantastic for Reynor. There's no two ways around it, right? This is going to be looking very, very good for him. As our Reaper heads down the bottom right, and is going to see the hatchery was a cool first. Woohoo! The Lings try and get this around on the Reaper. It doesn't work. So here's the Reaper away, of course. Right now, Kua doesn't have confirmation of the Roach Roaring, so he doesn't know about the Roaches just yet. I do it here. It's actually here. Just in case you're watching the screen, you're like, ooh, what's Wardy trying to box? So a couple of Reapers will fight the Queen. The Queen gets bobbed backward, and we do see the Reaper taking quite a bit of damage. And here come the Roaches for the first time. Oh, goodness. Kua's going to go 3rd and 4th barracks in the main base. He's going for a very bio-heavy follow-up to this. And you know what? He was actually stuck at just 3 Reapers. He would decide to start building an add-on. He cancels that to start building Marines now. And this is going to get interesting with a bit of Roach Ravager pressure at the front. You've got to defend this because your depot's going to be exposed. These barracks are exposed. Like I say, this is why it's good for Reynor. He can drone up behind this while he's going to start getting some damage dealt. Away we go. Roaches about to arrive. We have the gas soon for a second Ravager as well, so if one of these Roaches gets pretty hurt over the others, we can definitely start to utilize that. It's a little bit tough to use the Lings, because obviously the Lings just get attacked from range, and you can't really protect them easily, so I think that's one thing we just can't deal with as much as we'd maybe like to. Otherwise, though, I think it's fair to say that things are looking pretty reasonable here. As that Roach Ravager gets through the front, we're now going to go up to the high ground. Here's the interesting part on the high ground. There's no wall here because obviously the depots were initially the wall off, right? And now the Lings, Roaches, Ravagers will pick their way through the orbital there. A couple more corrosive vials. SCVs get pushed away. We're still just flying up in the skies and just having the hero just going to lead up the ramp. He just wants to get as many SCVs as possible. Cure AFK on the SCVs. He turns back into them. Oh my goodness, the SCVs turned back into the bile, and 6 SCVs went down to 2 biles there. No, the Marauder heats a bile as well. Oh god. Okay, well, this damage is severe, and Reynor is looking very, very good here in this game. My goodness, this is actually looking incredible for him. I mean, there's so much damage done. The only thing I can say is that obviously Cure's on 4 racks. Question mark, can he do some kind of counterattack that would help out and change things or do something here? I mean, you gotta feel like there's potentially a way to get something done, but... wow, I mean, maybe not, man. I mean, maybe he's just kind of dead. Across the map, the Reapers have gotten rid of 4 workers. I mean, there, I guess, is the beginning of our answer. There's a way to do something. 5 workers go down. I mean, that helps right now. Anything helps, right? So, yeah, at the moment, absolutely everything is going to be... you know, really useful. As a few grenades go down, the hatchery will be in some trouble still. Just knocking on through that and seeing our hatch going down. Just going to be having the drone getting chased. So we do get rid of the 3rd base. That's going to keep Reynor on 2 bases. So Reynor's being kept in a bit of a weird place. We've got ourselves 18 SCVs to 40 drones. We're going to lose a couple more drones here as well. The Reapers come back. Good first Spore Crawler build. Cancels it. Does lose the drone in the end, but minimizes damage at least, because that could have been a lot more if you let the Reapers get that first kill and then just focus on the others already. That could have obviously been very problematic very quickly. The Reapers pull back down to the south. The Queen's going to get rid of one of those Reapers. We come back around the side. 4 drones going down, looking to make it 5 here. And I'm just going to be seeing these Reapers. Again, 6 drones, man. Have these few Reapers actually been the game saviors for Cure? I feel like so often he would actually just, like, lose these Reapers on the defense against the Roaches and the Lings, and it's just whatever. It's just part of the price they're trying to hold. And now they've killed, like, 12 workers. And they're actually keeping Cure somewhat in the game? I mean, can you imagine Reynor's on 55 drones right now? I don't even think anyone thinks it's a competition. This Bioforce has stim, guys. He's going to stim up these ramps. These Roaches are going down. This is the power of the 4 racks. It's finally coming to fruition. He gets rid of all the Roaches. The Queens will fall. Is Reynor in trouble? He is. Cure is going to win game 3 with a ridiculous turnaround. The Reapers doing damage. The Bio getting its stim. And what seemed like an absolutely doomed game for Cure turns into a victory. He wins his 2nd map pick to take the 2-1 lead. The finals of the WardiTV 2022 series. So epic. In the top right side, our red Zerg player. From Kaiser Gaming, this is Reynor. Bottom left-hand side, we do have our blue Terran player up 2-1. In this best of 7, we have got Cure. The room's going to be a fire hazard with all the trees. How does this not start a hype train? Because we already had a hype train like 5 minutes ago. The hype train is on a 2-hour cooldown. Fatal Fury, 1,000 bits. Merry Christmas. Been lurking all year, but wanted to say thank you for the content, dude. Thank you so much for the sub, the gifted subs, the bits. Thank you very much. Bammable1, 2-year resub. Hype. Thank you so much as well. Very much so appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. Hype scam. I set it to have a cooldown because I feel like I always thought it was like kind of lame if it just went off all the time. Not that I even have it set up to be kind of hard to activate in the first place. Like for my stream, I feel like it's always been a good place, the hype train, honestly. We see it every now and again, but it does, you know, it's definitely not an everyday or even an every week occurrence, you know. I don't know. I like my hype train setup at the moment. Thank you so much for the love, guys. Once again, I really appreciate it as we get into our game number 4 of this best of 7 grand final. Kyo needs 2, Reynor needs 3 to win out. Just gonna see our Overlord checking out the front. Command center will begin. A few Lings and a couple of Queens in production. Our CC getting going. Our factory on the way up, and our orbital command is all coming through. Is CC first, so double orbitals morphing at the same time. Big map like Data C. Unlikely Reynor's really doing anything blindly aggressive. A pool first doesn't really kind of catch you off guard with CC first usually, because you can't really deny the CC, because the CC's finished before the Lings get there. So this is fine for Cure. I don't think Reynor's going to be too upset seeing it. He says, oh, you're being a bit greedy early on. Well, you know, like fine. That's okay. That's no issue at all, you know? Our Zergling heads down to the bottom left. Our Zergling speed will begin, and just going to be seeing our reactor finish on the racks. The factory is coming up, and the starport building as well. Our Marine just going to go for the Zergling there. The factory swaps onto the reactor. The tech lab starts on the barracks, and a couple of Hellions will produce out of that factory pretty much straight away. So just getting that going. It's just going to be seeing our couple of Hellions continuing to get ongoing, like I say, early game production, getting this running for the moment here. Marauder starts from Curious. That's going to tell us a little bit about this game. Obviously, no triple CC here as you would expect maybe on one of the larger maps, but Cure going to try and hit with these Marauders and these Hellbats. Lycan will start. Nice scout from this Ling. Gets up the ramp, sees the tech lab, right? So you get information here on exactly what this... He sees the armory as well. Reynor is so well set up to scout this. That's not an armory, is it? That's a fusion core. Holy shit. I just assumed he was about to go Hellbats. He's changed his mind. I think this is a complete 180 from Cure from what he was going to do. Obviously, he was absolutely going to go Hellbat Marauder. Now, he's going to try and fake Reynor out, because Reynor got the scout to figure out that it's Hellbats. But Cure forgot where the Overlord of Reynor is. Or maybe he didn't, but the fusion core has been scouted. If he just assumes that Overlord's been there this entire time, then obviously Cure feels like he's not being scouted yet, but Reynor was close enough to see the fusion core. That's the very important part of this. As that fusion core will be finishing up, and this is going to be battlecruiser time. Extra gases on the natural. Are we going to fully commit to mech off of this as well, or do we bio follow-up? I mean, with double gas, kind of feels like a mech follow-up, but do we just 180 that quickly? Or was this even further kind of mind games? Was he meant to give up the scout to make Reynor feel like it's a Hellbat attack, only to come up with the battlecruiser into mech after? Very, very interesting. I mean, a wild turnaround in this game. As that Viking moves all the way over to the right side. Just going to see the Hellions on the left, and a couple of Queens there immediately. We'll knock one Hellion down, so one Hellion out of the equation pretty much immediately. That Queen gets there, the Viking gets pushed back. I'm just going to see 2 more factories on the way right now. So 2 extra factories producing from Cure. He is going to fully commit to mech. Well, I mean, this series has really given it all so far. These guys are not holding back. Seen all sorts of different things from bio to mech to switch-ups to mind games. So far, this really has been absolutely fantastic stuff. Making up for that earlier TVT. Here we go. The battlecruiser teleports in, and the Queens will begin to fight it. As the Queen's there just immediately. Reynor has spores ready. Roach is ready to deal with the Hellions. He's so prepared because he knew exactly what this was. And he's not prepared because he's cut drones too heavily. He's droning well also because, again, he knew what this was from the very, very beginning. And that's obviously turned out to be pretty darn fantastic for him. So, yeah, going very, very well from here in that regard. That's going to be seen now. BC escapes away. A couple drones go down. Our Queen's coming across to push that BC back. We will be seeing our... I mean, a couple drones and, you know, bits and pieces here. It's not really a lot, right? Like, this is very manageable damage. This is stuff you can absolutely afford to have go down to something like a battlecruiser. It's such an investment from Q that typically you want so much more than this as the Terran player. He's already building siege tanks, by the way. I wonder if he's worried about a potential setup here. You know what Reynor doesn't know, though, is that this is mech on the follow-up, right? I think Reynor was very happy to just assume that this was going to be, like, you know, bio after BCs. But actually, this is mech, and so he's going to start a third Evo chamber, and that's not a mistake. That's because he's going to get missile upgrades along with his melee. So he's going to commit to the melee because he already started out. He's going to play this setup for a while. It's definitely not the most normal way to kind of set things up, but... let's see if he can make it work. His defense has been impeccable so far. Definitely feels like that should keep him in a pretty good place here. Battlecruiser gets into the main. Our Queens get through, and they will force the BC to teleport back. The Hellions going to go diving. Of course, this is what you can do with Hellions when you're playing mech. You can be a little bit more aggressive with them. You can give them up because you're producing more of them. So you're replacing the ones that you lose, so you can maintain map control pretty much throughout. Always wondered why the damage on the battlecruiser is so abysmal. It's not, I think, is the thing. It scales well later into the game with upgrades, especially. BCs nuke things because they fire so quick. Upgrades benefit them so much, so it's actually pretty well balanced. Because early game it doesn't nuke stuff as heavily because the upgrades aren't there. The later game it really benefits more and more from the upgrades and from getting to the later stage. It's actually kind of cool that it changes so much as a unit almost because of that. It makes it kind of, like I say, not completely ridiculous early game. But also then, you know, for something that can be used early game like it is, you'd think that it wouldn't be good at all late game. But it actually is if you can get to it, right? Like, it does kill things very quickly. Especially if then you get a Raven and an anti-armor missile. That benefits BCs even harder as well, so... will join up on the bottom side. Just going to see that CC finishing up in a couple of moments, and my tank will get sieged. Our Corruptor's coming through. Infestation Pit is already producing as well. Obviously, with this now being mech, the game is just kind of slowing down a bit. Reynor doesn't have any reason to go pushing across the map. He wasn't set up to like do a Roach, Ravage, or Corruptor bust because he was playing melee upgrades. So, yeah, for Reynor was just about deflecting the BCs and the Hellions and the harassment and then getting set up into this later stage in general. The BCs will Yamato, and the Corruptors will play the Battlecruiser Cat Tax. You're pretty much always going to lose one Corruptor per Battlecruiser in those battles. And that's part of the efficiency that helps you to stay alive in these kind of games, right? Because that efficiency of just taking down 3 Corruptors every minute or so, that's value that the Terran player finds, and that's kind of the value the mech player needs so that the Zerg can't just fully focus on building up a massive bank and just overwhelming you across the other side. $16 Banelings producing, just going to see a couple Spine Crawlers going down, just going to have Lingers Ravages setting up over on the far right. You know, Hellion Cyclone in the center will clean up a bit of creep. Reynor down to the south side with those Corruptors making a bit of a play down over there. Just going to join up with Ling Ravager Bane. Just going to start picking our way through this set of rocks here, maybe open up this map. Nope. Thought he might try it. Reynor max, so and might try to trade, but I'm a little unsure about him trying to force his way into these bases. What I think I would like a bit more is perhaps just if Reynor was to wait for Q to move out and catch him moving out, or, again, taking a 5th base, maybe deny him there. I mean, this feels great for Reynor. He's set up on the bottom side aggressively, and if Q doesn't know that, this could be bad. The Corruptors are going to get to the BCs. That BC's dead, guys. Yeah, it teleported away too late. It started firing too soon, so Corruptor gets a BC kill. Here comes Reynor. The Banelings crash into so much on the front lines. So many of the tanks are not sieged. Apparently the Ravagers don't have any more bars, so they can't get the couple of tanks that were sieged. 62 Lings immediately on the rebuild from Reynor, as a lot of tanks just remaining unsieged there, just trying to stay in this fight as long as possible. Seeing a few tanks firing, hatchery taking some damage, a couple more tanks sieging up. Here come the Lings, here come the Ravagers pushing on through. Corrosive Vials to take down the tank and the Cyclones. Knocking those out the way with immediate effect. Halberts and Viking will continue to hit this hatchery. I mean, it's going to be Reynor's 6th denied. Well, he's actually got the bottom right. And Reynor has so much of the map. That's what's good about this map. There's so many bases to take. The awkward part right now is these Corruptors are just kind of sat here doing nothing because the BCs aren't showing up. That's why it looks awkward. It's obviously not really awkward. It's good. They're zoning out the BCs from joining this fight and having their say. So, yeah, obviously, like I say, they look inactive, but just their presence there is doing a lot. There's these few tanks in the center. They're also scouting, right? If there's nothing to get rid of these Corruptors, they just get to see when the unsieges happen, when, Q is moving back, when he's reinforcing, when extra units are arriving. Those are all very important parts of this game as more Lings come down to the bottom side. The battle cruisers will fight against those Lings for just a few moments. So now the Corruptors coming straight through. First BC is going to teleport away. Whoa, what's that teleport? Corruptors are going to instantly find themselves a battle cruiser kill because they just teleported like a moment away. I understand you're maybe under pressure. You've got to play fast, but that was obviously a bad misclick because that's your second BC of the game now dead. As we stream forward, Lings, Banes, the Ravagers too, coming in, catching a couple of the Cyclones. These SCVs are in trouble, and now the mech player's economy is starting to fall. This is going to become extremely problematic because Reynor's just got a setup that can keep on firing. And if you've got to stop to rebuild your eco, then rebuild the army, that will take way too long when you're playing mech. And you just don't have a way to kind of make Reynor slow down or stop it all either. You just don't have enough units right now to do that, so... Yeah, especially as Reynor adds in more Vipers and there'll be Blinding Clouds available, this will just become more and more of an issue for sure. So, once again, we're talking about a fantastic situation here for Reynor in game number 4 of this best of 7. If Reynor wins this, we're all tied up. We'll be guaranteed at least 6 maps in this series as Vipers get to consuming the hatchery over here. And get some of this energy back on them. We can see the Ravagers coming through. Corrosive Vials will get to knocking down those siege tanks. Just going to get rid of a few of those. Queen's in the upper left, going to get rid of a couple of the Hellions as well. Going to turn around there too. Pushing them back. We're maxed out on both sides. Thor's on the way. Preparation for the Broodlords to some extent, of course, so got to be a little bit cautious about that. We come in, Corrosive Vials. Gonna try and knock down a bunch of these tanks. Double kill on the top side, potentially. Missed. Little awkward. Little miss. 10 SCVs go down. I mean, honestly, pretty good hold from Q. He keeps the base alive as well, which is very important in these scenarios. Usually, if you're losing these bases and having to replace the build all the time, that becomes very expensive. By keeping the base alive, you get to just keep mining a little bit more consistently, and that goes a long way. Good Corrosive Vials landing as the Hellbats morph in. Q just pushing across the map here. 7 Corruptors from Reynor. He believes he can obviously get a bunch of Broodlords on the go here. But tanks will siege, and it's going to be seeing an army continue up this right-hand side. Big Ling counterattack. I mean, this is going to, again, continue to push Q into a tougher and tougher position. Do you have enough Thors to be scary against this first round of Broodlords? And we'll kill an SCVs to make up for the drones currently being lost. Reynor does not have much gas, so a lot of his reproduction will just be Zerglings from this point on. We're just going to have to start getting active with these Broodlords sooner rather than later, right? I mean, the problem is now the Thors are getting into position. It's going to make it more difficult. Things are kind of being dealt with by the reinforcing Hellions, so counterattack is slowing down a little. Broodlords just again trying to figure out where they can hit. Yep, that's why you got to stay away from the Thors. They do a lot of damage to the Broodlords, and the Broods got to be pretty careful about that. We got a Yamato on a Broodlord as well, so that gets deleted. Here we come, the Ravagers to help out, try and get rid of these Thors. If the Thors go down, obviously everything else goes down because of the Broodlords. The Thors are going to start trying to fight against those Broodlords right now. The BC gets used to harass a base during this as he teleported away. Good to send it somewhere it can be useful and effective. The tanks continue to target fire down the Ravagers rather than, friendly firing because of the Broodlings. But guys, you can see the supply. Q is down to 43 STVs, 47 army supply to match him. He can't get past 100 in total. He doesn't get to kill this base either. Top left, maybe he gets this hatchery kill, but the Corruptors are going to have a battle cruiser kill on their hands once again. And 4 Thors on the way out, but I think Reynor is at the point of this game where he can just go across the map as he wishes, do what he wants, and just end this very easily and very comfortably. Here we go. A few Broodlords joining up together. The Thors, the Hellions getting set to go. Getting ready to attack. Getting ready to party. I mean, extra Broods just morphing. We can't get enough Broodlords, enough Thors up right now to deal with this amount of Broodlords is the issue. And Reynor also knows that he's not really going to be in kind of, run around the map everywhere mode, so he doesn't need to worry about the Broodlords being immobile. He just needs the Broodlords to be here to push through and to end this game, and that's why he's comfortable making so many of them right now. Turret goes down, just going to be seeing the Thors are going to be in a ton of trouble. I mean, even if these first few Broodlords started full, I mean, there should just be enough following up from here. The Lings, the Roaches, the Ravagers are going to start arriving. This base will be in trouble no matter what. The Thor count is not going to make it up to those Broodlords, and we are going to get tied 2-2 in this best-of-7 grand final. We are level, and we are ready to keep on playing StarCraft, apparently, here tonight in the grand finals of WardiTV 20. And the winner of this will be on match and tournament points. In the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player, this is Cure. Top right, our red Zerg player from Kaizi Gaming. It is going to be Reynor. Well then, guys, what are we thinking? What are we feeling? Proxy racks versus a pool first. Reynor getting a fantastic start here in game number 5. Completely correct choice of build. Completely great read on what his opponent is getting up to. So there you go, guys. That's obviously pretty cool for Reynor. If you're a Reynor fan right now, you should be pretty happy. The build order is already setting up to counter as we get the gas going at home. Here, that should just generally mean that, yeah, he's ready to get the factory back at home, basically following the 2 racks. So this is not completely committed or anything. Did Reynor see the barracks? No, he flew straight past them, so he doesn't see the barracks, but obviously he doesn't necessarily, I mean, seeing them is nice. But he's already gone pool first. Like, he already has the setup to deny any sort of bunker coming into play here or anything along those lines. So yeah, Reynor just setting up for the complete blind counter. Well, in we go. Yeah, Kira's about to build a bunker. He's like, wait, 6 Lings? No! Not ideal. Well, the Lings are tied up on the high ground, trying to get a little bit of a surround if necessary. Reynor, his hatchery obviously coming online. He's going to use the drones to try and guarantee that no bunker gets up. That's very important. That's a kill on the bunker if Kira doesn't cancel it soon enough, and he did not. It's a pretty big deal as a couple of Marines will be hitting our Zerglings. So Ling's taking some damage. A couple of Queens, Lings, drones all on the way out. Factory building in the main base. Here come the Lings around the bottom side. He's going to go counter-attack, and it's going to force a turnaround from Kira, lifting up the barracks, retreating away. I ran over with a good defense early, but Kira doing it right, keeping his Marines alive. Going to be able to use those later as well. Still in a rough spot because obviously he has no command center. He's got no expansion. I wonder if Kira potentially... He's the kind of guy that does turn this into like a one base all in rather than trying to expand late sometimes, but he has the money to expand, so I think he's just going to expand on location with these Marines. He'll do it in front of the Lings even. Yeah, so he's just going to put the expansion down. Yeah, sometimes he's crazy enough to try and one base all in from this kind of point, but it's just not going to happen here. Not this time around, at least. Means the Hellion coming across. The few Lings still set up over on the left-hand side. On all the way around to the right. And a couple of Queens get going. Just going to be seeing our starport building. Again, reactor, tech lab for the reactor. pretty much all the setup you expect to see, right? What's going to be interesting is, can this little group of units on the right side do much? You would imagine that the queens are probably going to be more or less enough defensively, right? As we press forward, the queens get some damage onto a Hellion. These queens do push the Marines back through to the middle of the map. We drop a third hatchery down to the top. We get a Marine kill. Got a couple Hellions still on the way. And our Fuelings will make their way through this reactor. Well, I mean, the repair is good. We're slowly losing HP on the reactor, but it won't be enough to kill it. As the door is opened, I think Reynor was happy to come in and have a bit of a scout. In the end, he forced the CC to cancel and come up to the high ground, so he kind of won out there as well. Q punished for having ever gone onto the map. And just another thing that goes very well for Reynor at the end of the day. A little bit of creep spread pushing forward. Just going to have that Baneling nest coming up on the natural. Our third hatchery about to finish. Ling speed is producing in the main as well. So bringing all of that up. Our queens ready to push creep further into the middle. He has Reynor just droning and droning. He knows that there's going to be at least until Stim is done for him to kind of drone. And then he's going to have to be prepared against the Marines naturally. But he's got a good amount of time to, just kind of sit and defend. And once he gets Ling speed, dealing with this little Hellion drop will become 10 times easier too. So here, turn this into that 2-1-1 setup. Might even just 2-base all in on the back of this as well and just hope you can do enough early and then maybe turn it into something. Get split on those drones, by the way, because they were coming down the ramp in a way that would have allowed these Hellions to get an easy pickoff. Hellions don't end up getting a single worker, because the Lings will continue to hunt them down, see what they can find. Back at home, the first medevac shows up to lift up some Marines. Only built one medevac, though, as, the Lings getting enough of a jump on these Hellions, perhaps? Not quite, the surround isn't there. Yeah, no reactor on the starport, so actually no double medevac here, just a single medevac moving up to the top to start out with. Coming all the way over on this side, just going to be seeing our few queens pull back to the 12 o'clock a little bit as well. And our Baneling's coming out, our drones, our spores, all of this getting going. Creep spread pushing to the front, and the creep team are in the middle of the map as well. Queens get here and the Marines have to turn away from this. And you're stopping this top left base coming online. Reynor will take this as a fourth hatch instead, so forced to take a base he wasn't initially intending to, and here maybe is the Hellion drop to change some things in this game. Nope, not happening. Reynor looking very good. He's not leaded at all. He's not leaded. He's not led at all in this series, by the way. He's lost the first game, tied it up, lost game 3, tied it up again. Win here now would put him on the lead at the most important points. Just in time to be on match point and win the tournament with one more after this. Marines will sit there. The creep teamers do go down. The Lings are going to come running across. The Marines will be in some trouble. The medevac loads up. Heals across over the left side. 2 more racks. It's just as this might just turn into 2-base all-in. I don't think it's too crazy. It's one of the builds that can still do very well, even if you've been kind of off on a bad start. You just get, enough momentum, go on a bit of a good trade, can maybe snowball a bit. I wonder if he's just too far behind here, though, because Reynor's drone count is good. If Reynor builds nothing but units from here on out, like, his position should be great. The +1 is so slow as well from QS, so that's going to be quite late. It's going to see our Marines there get the hatchery, and they get the drone. They will take that down straight away. Good pick off. There's more Lings and more Banes joined up into the center of the map now. Medevac will go boosting down to the bottom. Units of Cure out over the right. Tank set up, ready for this push into the center. Forward's going to get a scan. Marines will get rid of a whole bunch of this creep spread, so that's already going down the bottom right. We're setting up a massive surround. This isn't a run by, right? I mean, there's no reason to run by on the 2 bases. He could maybe bust through and kind of knock down the natural a bit as these few Banes can target fired down. Reynor just hold position and he's going to start pulling the trigger top left. Oh, the medevacs! Could have been hit by the, could have been target fired onto the low HP one. Reynor's obviously stopping reinforcements with his units on the bottom. Like I say, he's ready to push into the center at a moment's notice. He just doesn't want to go too soon. He at the very least wants to fight this with his +1 carapace finished. Oh, now Q is going to try and take advantage, come forward, get rid of these few Banelings initially. Yeah, Reynor's going to pull the trigger into the center, though, so he's still going to have plenty to fight with here. Well, where do we go to, Q? He doesn't lift up many of his Marines at all. A lot of them get caught in that. Here come the reinforcements. Reynor will turn toward those. The last siege tank has nothing to shoot upon. As the bottom left units from Reynor didn't do too much. He's going to need a lot more Banes here instantly. He's already making a lot of Lings. He just needs even more Banelings, quite frankly. 9 Banes is right now not enough. Q with the army supply lead. Is this a little bit scary, perhaps? Queens coming through. Marines will begin to fight. Just going to transfuse each of these queens a little bit right now. Well, good hold from Reynor. Obviously, buy time for more units to get up. That's generally, you know, time is your friend on a 2-base all-in. Unless the Terran player is on top of your bases, killing your drones, and really forcing you to be even more all-in, right? As here we go again. Lings coming around. These few Marines have to lift up and get out of there. The Lings will go launch themselves onto those siege tanks, so taking their way through that straight away. Again, if you're keeping the tank count low, keeping the splash damage low, you should also be able to stay in a pretty good position here overall. It's gotta be something of an aid, right? As it's set up again, just gonna be seeing our 3 queens having to pull back. Here come the Ling Bane. More Banelings wolfing up on that high ground and just gonna be ready to maybe come and wrap around this. Liberator's coming by and just gonna be seeing Q not really breaking through. Like I say, his army's still scary. Reynor has to respect it properly. He's about to get +1 armor, which will help a little bit. Tank some of these Marine shots and Link shots and so on. There you go, gonna start coming in. He's already fighting from the upper right as well. Getting by those Liberator shots. Let's watch these connections. I feel like they're the most important. The Queens are slow-moing through the center to try and get this Liberator. It will unsiege and get back. As now Reynor is actually on the hunt for some of these reinforcements. He could maybe go into the natural. I feel like he's got enough right now to perhaps make that play, as Liberators are going to be the one issue. They're powerful simply for the fact that obviously you just can't deal with them as the Zerg player. But again, every time that Reynor holds, he gets dragged farther and farther into a lead, right? Where Q just can't keep this up. His main base is mining out. His natural will begin to lose patches very shortly as well. The Terran cannot keep this up forever. But he is getting more and more libs. That's kind of my only concern. I think those Liberators could actually be very scary in some upcoming fights. Pull back further, just going to see more Ling Bane down at the left. Marines still push through. The couple Queens here will get picked off as well. Here goes number 1, maybe possibly the transfusions for a while, holding on here. The Lings get into the natural. That, my friends, is going to be game-changing, because all of a sudden, Reynor is going to be dealing a lot of damage. These mineral lines are going to be ransacked. We actually do run the Banes up, and then we're going to run them down for 23 kills, so we do find the damage. The Lings in the main have shredded this mineral line. Q has 14 SCVs remaining. And now he is, well, absolutely, completely all in. And he is on the biggest timer of all. Bunkers are setting up, somewhere for him to run back to. But if you're Reynor, do you not just then make him fight here? Like, give up a bit more space and then just run in from 3 angles as he steps onto the creep spread there? Because, again, time is not your friend anymore, Kira, right? Like, it never really was. But now more than ever, you are on a clock where you're playing with 50 less workers. You're going to get overrun very shortly. Reynor sees them bunkers. I wouldn't mind if, like I say, he just doesn't commit into it. I think right now he's working around. No, he's going to be for an attack. He is going to go for this fight. I guess if you force these Marines to lift in the medevacs, then that really ain't ideal. It lets you clean up the tanks. It lets you clean up the Liberators. You have a lot of Marines still in the back here. The supply for Reynor finally looking good, truly, in the army count. 20 army supply ahead. Q has to type GG, and Reynor is going to take it to a 3-2 lead in this best of 7-1 map from victory in WardiTV 2022. Why this is going to be the best opportunity for our red Zerg in the bottom left to close this out. In the bottom left side, our red Zerg from Kaizi Gaming is going to be Reynor. In the top right corner, our blue Terran player. Can he get it done on Tropical Sacrifice to take us to a game number 7, to take us to the ace match? In the top right corner, we have got Q. Game number 6. We'll see, that last game will start out with the blind counted proxy racks. And again, you can see the power of the 2 base all in. Reynor had to really be on point for every one of those battles and continue to defend. Overlord making its way out to the center. This is the finals. Yes, this is the grand finals. This is it. This is what it all comes down to. The end of the WardiTV 2022 series. We've been running events all year long. All of our events have added into points and qualification to this final 2022 event. $10,000 on the line. Everyone left with at least $100. And this is it. This is where we crown the champion of WardiTV events in 2022. Hence the name, WardiTV 2022. Our biggest WardiTV event of all time. Again, if you enjoy it, support it. It doesn't happen without you guys. How essential were the liberators? The libs are very important in the attack being good, because the libs, you don't really want to fight these attacks with like tech, because if you tech, you get killed because you get overwhelmed. So the libs take advantage of the fact they can basically never die, only to the queens, which is very hard for the queens to get far enough forwards and to fight it. So you're forcing the queens out of their comfort zones, and you're taking away some of the tankiness of that Zerg army that is usually there with the queens. So that's obviously a pretty big deal. And then on top of that, the libs are then just consistent damage. They're constantly firing, picking off a couple lings every time they run through, and that adds up, right? I mean, if suddenly you're losing, like, you know, if there's 4 liberators there, and they're getting 4 shots off, and, you know, every lib, say, kills a different ling, all of a sudden you're losing, what, like 2 supply every time a lib shoots? It's like 2 supply, 2 supply, 2 supply. And that's just the price of engaging. So you're talking about like 10 to 12 supply going down every time you want to fight as the Zerg. That obviously is really not very pretty, right? So yeah, libs do a huge part in making those 2 base pushes continuously sustainable. And it's just so much tougher for the Zerg to deal with them, so. Well, guys, a couple of Hellions coming through. The Ling's getting in there. Obviously, this was a no Reaper opening, which allows the Lings to come across the map, and hence they are able to make their appearance on the other side, get in, and cause a little bit of chaos, do a little bit of scouting. All that kind of good stuff. Hellions and the Banshee coming through. We do see more Hellions around the left-hand side. Gonna loop around and try and pick away at some of the creep spread. Gonna go for some of these drones, actually. So diving in completely. I feel like this is almost a sign of the map, right? Where Q is like, boy, I don't like, you know, I don't feel like comfortable in a longer game on Tropical. Let's try and get a lead early. Let's try and get some damage done right now. 6 drones do go down. 42 drones and 39 SCVs in the game. There's a good slowdown. We're going Cloak Banshees as a follow-up as well. First time we're seeing Banshees in this series as well, right? Just going to see our 2 barracks getting set up. Let's see what the Banshees can do. I mean, the plan here is just to go heavy harassment. Kill as many workers as possible to make your follow-up attack that much better. That's typically what you're aiming for. We'll see if we can make it work out here in this game. Number 6. And Banshee comes around, gonna cloak up immediately, and there's Queens there with the Spore Crawlers. The immediate defense is very on point from Reynor. He's playing a later lair though, so he has fast upgrades, but the later lair makes that a bit tougher to follow up. No third CC from Q as he goes to 3 racks, so yeah, he absolutely wanted... Oh, sorry, he has got a third CC builder. I apologize. I am very blind, guys. It was right there in production this entire time. He does have a third CC then. Still pretty fast, 3 racks in total, so should be able to put on a good amount of pressure. I was kind of thinking about the Engineering Bay only being one of them. Usually, if you're playing any kind of 3CC, you'd play double Engineering Bay and double upgrades. Single upgrade usually leans much more towards a 2 base all-in. Anything that's just kind of trying to be very aggressive very quickly. Because in those sort of trades, you're not looking to take damage, so the armor upgrade isn't as important. You just want to deal as much damage as possible and have as many units as possible, which is why you skip the second engineering bay and so on. Two extra racks will finish in the main. We do have the Banshees. Deflected from dealing too much damage, but they will slow down the creep spread at least. And, well, we know how just annoying creep spread can be for a Terran player to deal with, so it's very good that the Zerg is slowed down on that creep at any point possible. Getting through a couple of creep tumors again there, so utilizing some scans to clean out. Bio, stand up down the right, an orbital command coming through. Taking that third base position, Hellions, Marines, and tanks. Getting up in numbers. Hellions immediately here on the third, but, well, they're here so soon that there's nothing even there. But there is this push across the map. If Reynor can just shut down some reinforcements, that would be nice. Push is scary, guys. +1 attack. Stim combat. You do not have balance speed yet as Reynor because you've been playing the kind of the faster upgrades to the slower lair. Balance speed is, what, 30, 40 seconds away? It's a long time to buy when these tanks get sieged up, and this position is one of the good parts of Tropical Sacrifice. Being able to really kind of, work your way towards this hatchery with a good tank setup. That's why you generally do not want to let the kind of, things get into this kind of position initially. So let's see how Marines coming through. A couple more Queens going down. Leans on the counterattack, catching the reinforcements is big. Reynor didn't want to take a big fight until he has bailing speed, so you may as well use those Lings elsewhere. Queen's just going to stand and fight. The Marine's going to get pushed back. The Lings, Banes need to decide what they want to do. Try and wrap around that army of Q in the bottom, or just, again, intercept reinforcements. There's not a lot of Marines there, honestly. Not enough to stop all of this. Oh, God. Q is losing a lot, guys. Reynor is taking complete control of this at the moment as that Queen's come in from the left-hand side. Banshees will try and get some more drones. The Spore Crawl are going to start dealing damage to them. They might go down with Q focusing at home. Reynor has so many units here. He's opened up the door. It's not repairable because it's just gone. SCVs will get blown up as well. And there's another tank that's in trouble. Medevac might have to come to repair it. I just don't think it's happening. Q is going to give up the position on the other side. Reynor never had to engage into that location. And Reynor has got a triple work account going in his favor. 76 to 25. Wow, it looks as though Q is in a lot of trouble right now. 3-2 in favor of Reynor. One more map steals the deal, and he is up 50 supply in this game. More units of Reynor begin to move through the center as he looks as though he's just going to stay aggressive here. Q Medevac's loading up some Marines, going to pull out into the center. A couple of Banes running around a little bit as well. Our Lings will run through. A couple of tanks will be firing. Our Zergling's taking a lot of damage. Our mules will drop down onto that mineral line, and a lot of the Lingbane around the left. Ready to just play defense as Q will make him work for this final win. Q is not going to leave early. He's not going to give up easily. He's going to go as long and as hard as he can. As our Marines and our Hellbats just picking up a little bit more creep, and, well, it's not an easy run for Reynor. Reynor was almost eliminated by Classic in the round of 16, guys. He lost to him once. The second time around, he corrosive piled a prism with 2 disruptors to win the game. Without that, he might have been dead, and he might have been eliminated, and here he is on the verge of being your WardiTV 2022 champion. Just needs to close this game out. 29 SCVs from Q. It's going to be one massive push. It's going to be one huge test for Reynor. One check to see that he's not being too greedy, that he can defend this one last army of his opponent. That's all he needs right now. That's all he has to do. It's just more easily said than done still, of course. Reynor has a bit of money still floating around. Could do with a couple overlords. He's building Hive. He's got 2-2 on the way. He's building the Hydra Den as well. And it's just a question mark of making sure you've got enough to always deal with this one last big push of Q that's currently making its way down to the bottom left. Liberators that will siege. Tanks pushing forward. Ling's going to set up to wrap around. The Bane's actually getting shot down a bit. Ling's is going to counterattack again. Reynor was absolutely loving the counterattacks. sees that there's not enough of a chance here. Could have maybe just sent some links to the third. I mean, a handful of links would have done a lot, even with one tank firing on them. 2-2 is about to kick in. That's where Reynor would really love to fight. 2-2 against 1-1 for quite a while. He's not pushed to fight immediately. He's also got Vipers on the way. I mean, there's just so many timing windows here where Reynor is going to be massively advantaged. That's kind of one of the crazy parts of this right now, is our Lings and our Banes set up. A few Banes rolling around, more Marines and tanks pressing forward. A few Marines there, just going to nab that Overlord. Just going to knock that down and cure. And set up here, over on the ramp. Pulling Bane of Reynor, setting up on the top. A few Marines ready to potentially move up this ramp here and take down this hatchery. When Banes move in, just going to get rid of a few of those Marines already. Our Vipers, obviously, again, so much use for them. Blinding Clouds, Abduct, especially in this scenario, right? Because Reynor never actually made use of the Hydra Den yet. Just sitting on the Hive, and I'm surprised he didn't even start Adrenal Glands. He's floating money, so you could definitely start at least 1 or 2 upgrades. Maybe not everything, keep some money to rebuild, sure, but 1 or 2 of the upgrades, and, you know, the ideas are kind of further in your tech and further in your position here would probably go a very long way. The Queens will activate onto the Liberator. Here we go. The Ling Bane from the upper left, from the bottom left. The Blinding Clouds all over the first few siege tanks. The Marines are running for their lives, but to no real avail. The Balins are going to run out of targets. They've just killed so much already. His supply is plummeting, and obviously doesn't help that his work account is a very low portion of that supply. Reynor rebuilds 60 Lings, few Hydras as well for good measure. His Vipers get away. They'll go get some energy back. A little bit of crew spread here to help you push these Marines away too. He's going to get a jump down this ramp, get on top of this siege tank as well, so you can deny that splash damage. And then just pull back, wait for the reinforcements. And Reynor is 60 supply up here, waiting for Cure to just dive a bit too deep, or for him to just get a few more units, and then he's going to go and end this game, and end this series, and end this tournament, and end this year for us on WardiTV. Lings across the map will look to intercept reinforcements. There's no way Cure can deal with this right now. There's way too many Lings. He doesn't have the time to just rally them across in larger chunks. He's got to go, go, go. And that is the issue. That is the problem. He's completely all in, and Reynor is playing to that in every single way possible right now. He is not going to let Cure slip this one out of Reynor's grasp. And Reynor just waiting for this next fight, which is going to happen right now. Some Hydras to help will help to clean out the Liberators as we come in from both sides. We abduct some Liberators. We get them out of siege mode. The tanks will be denied. The Hydras will get rid of the Libs. And this, my friends, is going to be it. Cure felt like he just stopped playing there. I thought he was tapping the GGs. As he's flying around with Medivacs and other units, it's just not going to be enough. The Liberators are sieging. I'm just going to be seeing our Ling Bane. And ready to fight again. More Marines and more tanks going to press through the center. Just trying to find something. Cure's got 90 army supply. If Reynor takes a horrible fight, it is absolutely possible, of course. That's why he's still in this. That's why he's still trying to instill that hope that Reynor forgets how to A-click properly. Well, here we go. Ling Bane from both sides yet again. We've seen this one a few times over at this point. There's less and less this time for Cure to work with. It's going to be these Marines on the retreat, being chased down. Reynor has enough. Reynor has everything. Cure has almost nothing. GG's. Reynor is your WardiTV 2022 champion. $3,000 in his pockets. Taking it down. And yet again, another championship for him. In our WardiTV set of events, he won the big one earlier this year, the WardiTV Summer Championship. And he wins this one, our largest WardiTV event of all time. Reynor 4-2 over Cure.